Hello, I'm Jeremy Boardman, and I'm going to do my presentation for Data 620, Professor Mejid Al-Gandor, UMUC, a dive into the FIFA World Cup. The FIFA World Cup 2018 begins in 73 days. This is the first tournament hosted by Russia and only the second on the Asian continent. The World Cup is always an exciting time. Will the world crown Germany or Brazil the two most winning countries in the tournament's 88-year history, which we can clearly see in this bar chart representing cumulative top four finishes? One strong indicator of success in the World Cup is performance during the qualification leading up to the World Cup. And in this case, we can see from this chart, which shows the average points scored in a qualifying match, where a win gives the team 3 points, a tie would give them 1 point, and a loss would give them 0 points. In this case, we see Brazil with 2.273, not quite as good as they've done in previous years. Mexico at 2.21. When we take a look at Europe, we see a lot of powerhouse countries here. Germany, 3 points. That means they won every one of their games during the qualification round. In this case, there were 10. We also have Belgium with 2.8 points, so expect a good performance from them as well. France, 2.8. Portugal, 2.7. And of course, let's take a look at England. But because it's broken down into states, we're going to have to take a little zoom here. And England has 2.6. So expect those countries to do quite well in the World Cup in 2018. Goals are an obvious component of victory, but goals mean something more to the fans. It is what they pay good money to see, and it brings them to their feet in raucous roar. So if you're going to watch a game, nothing is worse than a goalless game. When we take a look at trends in goals over time in this control chart, it seems prior to 1960, average goals per game were quite erratic between World Cups. Yet since the average scoring per game seems pretty stable or in control and to be somewhat higher. This does not mean there won't be any 0-0 draws, but on average we can expect to see around 2.5 goals a game. So, given a guarantee of some goals, how many fans can we expect to pack into the stadiums this World Cup? This chart showing the proportion of countries' population per 1,000 that attends an average game, we can see a downward trend in the proportion of a country's population that can fit into the venues. Since stadiums aren't getting any bigger, what is happening here? Is the world's population outpacing access to sporting events? This might be why ticket prices have been rising over the years. Based on this linear forecast, we would predict about 27,000 on average per game in the 2018 World Cup in Russia. Wait a minute. That can't be right. That would be the worst attendance since 1962 in the World Cup in Chile. Using the upper bound of the 95% confidence interval, we would expect 115,000. Of course, 115,000 is nearly double the largest attendance per game to date. That was the World Cup of 1994 in the United States. So based on this forecast, Russia's per game attendance is going to be between the smallest and the largest to date. That sounds like a safe bet. Well, thanks to high definition, we don't need to fight over a shrinking pie. Furthermore, I don't think this downward trend will reduce the home field advantage. Is there really a home field advantage? By this chart, it seems pretty convincing that there is. Here we see a box plot of total tournament goals. The large blue dots represent total goals scored by the tournament host. With the exception of Spain, the United States, South Africa, and our two winningest clubs, most hosts have a record or close to record performance. If this holds for Russia, we can expect around 12 goals, which is probably good enough for a Final Four finish. This isn't Cambridge Analytics, but maybe Russia could pull off something Trumpian and take it against all odds. Wouldn't that be something? It may even give an extra jolt to the Russian economy. It may be hard to discern in this chart, which shows the percent change in per capita GDP in the world, represented by the orange line, and the percent per capita change in the GDP in the host country, represented by the blue line. So this seems like good news for the Russian people. 12 goals, a Final Four finish, record-breaking attendance, and a sizable economic boost. Thank you. Enjoy the World Cup. Game on!